On the Bank is proudly sponsored by Dovetail Games Euro Fishing.
So Pete, how long have you been fishing these waters around Portland?
35 plus years. Yeah, I know the waters pretty well. In my lifetime I've seen schools of pilot whales off Portland Bill, I've seen thresher sharks off Portland Bill, I've seen porgies obviously, and we found marks that work for us. Paul is very much into the predator fishing side of it.
You know, these fish are big fish and they're powerful fish. The best thing, if anybody's thinking about coming shark fishing or even shark fishing on their own boats, you know, quality breeds. If you're going to spend the money and you're going to spend the time, don't take any chances.
I've had a very early start this morning, out of bed at 4:30, in the car, all the way down to Dorset, and it's now 9 o'clock. 5 hours on the go already, and we've only just got rods in the water. So where are we? Well, I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you. All I can say is we're south of Portland, and I'm on a boat called Buoy. It's the first ever predator boat to be chartered from Portland, and today we're shark fishing. Might have a bite already. We've only been in the water 5 minutes.
Well, we're coming up to
the interesting thing with this is that although we've got a float out there which is suspending about 120 feet deep, we'll see the bite when the ratchet starts to go. So actually the ratchet will start spinning. Now, you've seen the film, haven't you? I think it might have been called Jaws, when the you know, drum of the reel starts spinning. I think we're on a big enough boat. Just wait and see what happens. This is going to be a waiting game. We've put some chum in the water, which was that enormous kind of tube that you saw Paul with, which is full of chopped up bits of fish and fish blood and fish oil and delicious things, the type of stuff that, you know, at breakfast time on a pitching sea is exactly what you want to see, hear and smell. And that's putting a scent trail in the water which is going out from behind the boat. And now we just wait to see if any of these bites develop and we get a fish on. Can't believe to tell you how excited I am about this, because if we start to see fish, they are going to be sharks. There are various different species out here. We'll see what we get as we go. Fish on. Well, here's our first fish of the morning. Our first look at a shark. Chris has got a shark on. Look at that. Well, how about that for a start then? There's a little taupe. I reckon that's what, 7 or 8 pounds maybe not even that, to be honest. A long, lean, sharky machine. What a fantastic looking creature. And look at this, here's the business end. What a fantastic looking thing. And you can see what we mean. You know, we talk about it being part of a predator pyramid. That is a proper shark, isn't it? The colour of it looks like a shark, the shape of it, the profile, and underneath, the teeth. And that's eaten a mackerel bait which is trotted off the back of the boat. Interestingly, that was the first bait that went in the water. And we've only been fishing 25 minutes. Wow. Let's get this little fella back and see if we can get something bigger. We're going to have to work to try and find the fish, and I suppose that's not that unusual with sea fishing, is it? Now, one of the things I've really liked so far about this adventure is that I'm not the only one who's on a learning curve. Paul and Pete, who are running the boat, they're learning how to do this too. They've only been doing this for about 6 or 8 months or so. They've had fantastic success so far, but it's finding where those fish want to be. It's finding those reliable marks which charter skippers guard so closely. So what we're going to do at the moment, we've just had a little drift around an area where they've caught some fish before. So far, only that one fish on the boat. So what we're going to do is going to have a little move. Here Pete's just about to start the engine now. Plod our way down and see if we can find a fresh mark. Well, we were steaming for about 20-25 minutes and we've actually come back to the very place where we started this morning, way back at 9 o'clock. It's now 11:30. Scary, isn't it? The tide's running at about 3 knots and it's drifted us all the way down there, about 5 miles, which is incredible. So we've turned round, come way back up the tide, and we're sitting here for another drift. Now, so far we've only had the one fish. These things can take time, and one of the important bits of this is that you need to put plenty of food in the water. In lots of respects, this is just like feeding your average lake or river. That ground bait mix that you put in to bring in the bream and the tench and the carp even is something that, you know, builds during the day. Well, what Paul has done is he's put in that rubby-dubby mix, that kind of mashed up fish mixture, and that's what we think will attract the sharks. That's what we're hoping anyway, and the sport will build as the day progresses. Going on between the skipper and Paul. Something to do with the knot giving way. I don't want to talk about it really.
No, we don't practically talk about that.
Beep.
Can you pick up the reflection in this glasses?
Pete's slightly cross because he's just lost what we think is quite a big fish, and the swivel came up. Well, it didn't come up. The line was all curly-whirly, you know, when you don't tie a knot properly and you get that sort of curly-whirly bit at the end.
Right, there's 3 walking back now.
And now he's saying something about us having to walk back, and
I'll give you 20 quid.
it's a long walk, to be honest.
There
So,
we go, sir. Now you've got your glasses on. There's
not
your...
all's going well here on Big Boy.
Right. If it comes up with a hook in it, mate, that's mine.
There are sharks within sight of land in UK waters.
Absolutely. You know, when we were doing the research for shark fishing in this area, divers are quite often seeing porbeagles within swimming distance of the land. They're not dangerous, you know, they're pretty peace-loving creatures, really.
What, divers or porbeagles?
Porbeagles. I think the divers are more of a threat than the porbeagles are. They are shy creatures, really. You know, they're not going to do anybody any harm, but they are there, and they are there to see.
So the porbeagle for us today is the kind of Valhalla, isn't it? That's the prize we really want.
Yes.
We may not see one. If we're lucky, we might see one. It's a proper shark.
It is, absolutely. It's actually a cousin to the great white. It is that sort of build and shape, and you know, if you didn't know the difference, they look very similar.
So here we go, Jason's in. Go on, Mr. Watling. Put your back into it, Watling, come on. Yeah. So, money's on this being a tote, we reckon. It's big enough. Oh, that's going to be a good fish. Wow, this is fantastic. So there's Jason's lead that's just appeared, and there's our tote. Look at that, what a fantastic creature. Oh, incredible. Well, Mr. Watling,
That's what we came for.
it's a shark, mate. Isn't that a fantastic creature? I mean, they're glorious, aren't they? And that, when you look at that one we caught earlier on that was about, I suppose, 7 or 8 pounds, what do you reckon he goes, 30?
Yeah, he's probably close, 25, 30.
What was the fight like?
Lovely. Nice light rod. Great fun.
I mean, if you look at the kind of the makeup of this fish, you can see its predatory eyes are sort of following you all around the boat. I mean, it's a sight feeding fish, it's a scent feeding fish. And at the business end here, I'm not putting my fingers anywhere near this, but look under here. Incredible looking thing, look at that. It's a proper shark, isn't it? And what a glorious thing to see. Brilliant.
Shall we put him back?
Off he goes. None the worse for wear.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Dovetail Games Eurofishing, proud sponsors of On the Bank.